Ms. Brooke Goldner, MD.
How important is that as your mental health?
Well, mental health is really important, right? So are you talking about in terms of how it will affect your recovery or how it will affect your ability to do the diet?
No, so the recovery to
Yeah.
really get healthy.
So people who have issues in mental health, depression, anxiety, trauma, have a much higher rate of autoimmune disease. Yeah, there was one, I was actually just talking about this on the news, that because Lady Gaga just came out, she has fibromyalgia, and she now says that she was raped, and that's where it started. Selena Gomez is now in therapy, using a type of therapy we use for trauma. So they've seen like 60% higher rates for people in the hospital. 60% of them had some kind of trauma in their life. So it's very strong connection. So yes, the right mental health treatment is super important. I know in my group, so my rapid recovery group, where people work with me for 42 days, they're doing it because they couldn't do this on their own, even though the steps are easy, right? I didn't tell you anything complicated. Eat this, don't eat that, right? But people struggle. And part of the struggle is staying motivated to do it right, making sure they're doing it right, having me breathe down their neck. Like, that's not actually 8 cups, there's air in those leaves, you know? But a lot of it is self-sabotage that comes from their mood issues. So we do a lot about that. There's a huge component where I teach, where the first one is getting them to do self-care, because guess what? If you're eating these toxic foods, you're addicted to them because they give you a high. And if you don't replace the high with something else, you're gonna go back to the food. So I teach them about self-care, like getting your happiness from relationships, from your activities, from exercise. Because if you can replace the high, you won't need that anymore, but otherwise you're gonna starve for it. So a lot of people are emotionally leaning into their foods, but also all the other work of like forgiveness work I do in my group, work on letting go of pain, letting go of depression, letting go of your disease, letting go of the identity of disease, right? So it is a huge component of what I do. And that's why a lot of people ask me, well, do you miss doing the psychiatry? I said, I never stop, because getting people to change their diet is all emotional. So yes, and I do recommend that people get the right emotional support. If you're dealing with depression, anxiety, trauma, you need to process those things, because those generate inflammation. And we see that in the bloodstream. Like if somebody dies and you're in mourning, your inflammation markers go through the roof, just like someone who has autoimmune disease. And a lot of people who come to me first got sick after a major trauma. They lost somebody they loved, or something else happened, and that's when they got sick. So it's an enormous component, and I'm glad you bring that up, that the people who come to me who are otherwise happy, like Rachel, great relationship, loved her job, happy person, just happened to be sick. 4 weeks of just eating right. And then there's other folks where it looks more like a stock ticker, you know? It's like, oh, the nutrition's working. Oh, they just saw their mom for lunch. Mom trigger. I'm not saying all moms. I'm just saying this one lady's mom. There's trauma trigger. And then everything's going well, and then relationship issue and stuff, and it's like up and down. And so they've realized then that they have to learn how to deal with all the emotional stuff for the food to do its job. Otherwise, the nutrition is not just healing old stuff, but it's also trying to deal with all the new stress that's causing inflammation. Yeah, it's all important.